Okay guys, welcome to CDR T3. We are in Austria today. I don't have a co-host with me today, so you'll just have to spend the next hour or so listening to my voice. Do apologise about that. And for the first time in Tier 3, we are running a full qualifying session, which the Tier 3 guys have voted on in the last week, and they opted for it. So quite a few will be completing full qualifying for the first time. So let's see how they get on, and let's take a quick look at the championship standings to see who is where. So the driver standings currently stand as Osboso is out in front on 91 points, followed by King of the Hills on 64, Dan James and the Hound on 60 points, followed by Shade Mabs in 5th on 54 points. As we have a few cars leaving to go out on track, and let's see who we've got out on track. So we have Warrior Huntsman, Rich, Scotty, Silent Ninja, I cannot make that out for the life of me, so I will apologise. Sex Free and Paranoid. So let's see who is the first to come around for their flying laps. It looks like it's going to be Silent Ninja as the first man across the line to start a lap. I know, it is Paranoid, first man to come across the line for a lap. So we're right on board with him for the first half of the lap, and then see how everyone else is getting on behind him. As Tier 1 and 2 on Friday, Tier 1 pole time was something ridiculous, like a 1 minute 2.4, I believe. And the Tier 2 was 1 minute 3 something. There was a big time difference between the two, as there's a few lap times already set, so I was wrong with who was the first out on track. Warrior Huntsman and Levant both setting decent qualifying times there to start with. Just bear with me for a moment. I'm just going to move around. Okay, and we've just had Clay join, so that is 18 guys in the qualifying session, and we are already in the 1 minute 4s for qualifying. Sexbury, who I believe, did he serve his race ban? I'm not entirely sure he did. Okay guys, sorry about that. That is Sexbury taken to the runoff to avoid cars coming on flying laps. Call me our kid, who is making his debut in CDR, invalidated his first lap, but the pace he had there on it, it was like a 1 minute 4.6, I think. So he'll be happy if he can take that into an actual flying lap. There will be a few drivers that do not make it out of Q1. Obviously with 18 we will lose 3 drivers. As I follow Scotty coming up to turn 2, or turn 3 that is, the hairpin which leads onto the second DR straight out for 3 around Austria. As he comes down the hill, very difficult braking zone to get right, and not to exceed the, well, not to use too much curb on the runoff, otherwise you will lose a whole bunch of time. As he comes up towards the penultimate corner, how's his lap time going to be? I think he's going to be on course for like a 106, which will put him around about 7th. 104.6, so I was completely wrong. Guys, if anyone is actually watching this and you've got anything to add, just add a comment and I'll just get the stream up on my phone. Thank you. As Jay has just done a 1 minute 4.3. So already tier 3 are getting towards some serious qualifying times, and there's still 11 minutes left of qualifying 1. Obviously Austria being, I think it's the quickest track on the calendar per lap time, with an average lap time of like 1 minute 6. As gainful odds is actually up through sector 2, so in the final sector. So gainful odds, yeah, looking at making a massive improvement to his lap time if he can keep the rest of the lap tidy without invalidating at the final corner. Took a lot of curb and got away with it. It's just on a 1 minute 5.1. So he had made up a whole bunch of time in that final sector. As no fan is out on track, I'd assume just getting his eye in for his braking zones, seeing what he can do, and we'll come back into the pits very shortly. As the man that's actually on the verge of going out at the moment is Sniper is Ace. Well, Sniper's Race, however it's pronounced. Coming down, oh, he's invalidated his lap again, which it is very easily done around Austria, I may add, because of how quick the final couple of corners are, and that turn 1, there's a pinch point on the exit. It's very easy just to invalidate the lap at either one of those. We've just had another driver join, so that will make it 19, so we will lose 4 drivers from qualifying 1. And a lot of these drivers, it'll be the first time they've done the full qualifying format, so they may forget that the rule about the fastest time you set in Q2 if you get through to Q2 is, well, if you progress into Q3, the fastest time, the time you set in Q2, the tyres are used to start the race on. So that might be worth somebody mentioning to the tier 3 guys in case they have forgotten this. As Sniper's Ace is still not on the pace at the moment. You don't want to burn through too many sets of tyres during qualifying 1 and leave yourself with none for the rest of your qualifying. which I have the feeling this is what he is doing. There's nothing wrong with scrubbing in a set for your Q3 run or something like that for a banker set, but you don't want to be using all of your tyre compounds now. As the top three currently are Jay, Gulmy Arcade, Shade Mabs, and then I suppose so is in P4 in Q1, Scotty, Levin, Sexprey, Rich, Gainful Odds, King of the Hills, Paranoid, The Hound, Warrior Huntsman, who Warrior Huntsman has moved down from tier 2 to tier 3 because he is making the transition from the controller onto the wheel. So until he is back up to pace, he will be full-time in tier 3, learning how to race against people with the wheel and so on and so forth. Silent Ninja is in P14 at the moment. As Jay Sean has joined the session, but he's not picked a car yet. So at the moment there are only 18 runners. As that's an out lap. Is there anyone on a flying lap? Yes, there is. Levin is on a flying lap again, and he's going slightly quicker through the middle sector there. Can he keep it tidy through the final corner and not take too much curb on the exit? And he does improve and moves himself into the 104s. Some very comfortable lap times going on at the moment. And that is King of the Hills coming into Sector 2, just finished Sector 1. How's he going to fare through the middle part of the track? As the middle part is the most tight and technical part, it's not the most free-flowing sector on the calendar, but it works for Austria. All down to his final couple of corners, and he's gone into the pit lane. Have a comment on the stream, let me just pop that up, and I will respond to it in a second. So Osposo has a fan in the YouTube comments, getting cheered on by, I'm assuming, his friend or brother. And thank you to the 12 people that are currently tuned in at the moment. It is a great help, especially with the YouTube algorithms. The views we get on this do help pushes up the For You page. So it is helpful. Thank you guys. So Osposo is currently in P5, so his fan will be happy about that. Is anyone on a flying lap at the moment? That was Sniper's Ace, who's just put himself into P7 as I jumped to him. So at the moment we are losing Clay, Dan and Mikey, who are all just on outlaps. Warrior Huntsman is on the bubble of going out on a 1 minute 5.6. So he has some time to find on that lap. Okay, guys, so what do you think of the Tier 3 running the same format as Tier 1 and 2, with the full qualifying, as a few of these will go out and it will be the first time they've had to sit and wait out a qualifying session, knowing that they could have done something different, a little bit extra on a certain lap, and found time. As I'm actually on board with Warrior Huntsman, seeing how he gets along for his next lap, as there is only 2 minutes left of the session. And at the moment, I think he would be safe, as Clay and Mikey are in the pits. Dan is the only one out on track, and it's an invalidated lap. Okay, there's a couple more comments just coming through the session now. Yes, Sniper, that was a weird invalidation. I didn't see where you invalidated exactly, but it is very easily done around here, as Warrior Huntsman went 4/10 slower on his second flying lap, and it looks like he's pulling out of this lap thinking he's safe, as the Hound is on an outlap, Silent Ninja on an outlap. Paranoid is in Sector 2, currently 0.137 in the red. So let's see if he can find a little bit of extra time through the final sector, or if he's just going to dive into the pits. Yep, committed to finishing the lap. I don't blame him. And he's invalidated at the final corner. Second to last corner, penultimate corner. Yep, you've run a little bit wide there, and it will invalidate your lap. Like, not even a question about it. But then you watch the actual F1 race and qualifying, and they're running as far wide as they want over that curb, and they get away with it. So the corner cutting is on strict, which is why there will be quite a few penalties handed out for track limits, because Austria is one of those tracks that does just beg you to take as much exit curb as possible. As King of the Hills has just invalidated his lap, he will just come into the pits. Well, he may as well cross the line, as qualifying is now over. As another comment has just come through. Right, Sniper cut the corner a little bit too much, so you took too much curb on the entrance to it, and it invalidated. I will be back in a second. There we go, back to the stream. So, Q1 wrapped up. Jay has put in an impressive 104.3 in Q1. We'll only get quicker with track evolution. Fumi our Kid only marginally behind, so an impressive debut from him so far. Shade Babs on a 104.4, Levin 104.9, then we 104.42, Osboso 104.5, Scotty on a 104.6, Sniper on a 104.6, Sexbury on a 104.9, and then at Rich we drop into the 105s. So there's just under a second between P1 and P9 at the moment in Q1. So there is a bit of work to do by some drivers, a lot of time to be found, but some people might not be showing all the pace that they do have. And let's just jump into the race director and see who exceeded track limits and where, as this is something that is quite interesting to do. So as we can see, Sniper's did invalidate this lap and next lap, which I'm assuming was on the final corner. The Hound invalidated his lap. Sniper invalidated another lap. Dan invalidated a lap. Gainful Odds, Paranoid, and Gainful Odds again. So a lot of invalidations going on in Q1. Okay guys, so if any of the tier 3 guys are actually watching this, remember, if you make it through to Q3, the fastest time you set in Q2, you will start the race on those tyres. So just be careful that you don't put too many laps on that set of tyres, thinking that you'll get free tyre choice in at the beginning of the race, as that is not how it goes. As Warrior Huntsman is out on track, Silent Ninja is out already. Okay, let's see the full track map, so we can take a quick look at who is actually on track. So there's a few at the exit of turn 2, and it does look like Warrior Huntsman is the first man on track. So let's see if people will give a little bit of respect and not overtaking the final sector in order to get their flying laps done. If you're in the final sector behind someone, just back out of your out lap a little bit, give enough space and let them get their lap started without worrying that someone's going to come up behind them and overtake them on their flying lap. So Warrior Huntsman, not a particularly strong Q1, but will be looking to improve on his 105.2, I believe it was. So, right. We'll go for the fitted, see what everybody's running. There's a few medium runners so far, with about 6 tenths difference in time between the two tyre compounds. So the mediums, the soft to medium, it's about 6 tenths. And then about 1.2 seconds from the softs to the hards. And hopefully there's no rain in this race like there was in tier 1 and 2 on Friday night. Warrior Huntsman seems to just be easing it round on the initial lap, just trying to get a lap time set. Obviously he will have purple sectors because he is the first man out on track for now, but there will be a few people behind him that have set faster sectors. There is a yellow flag up in sector 2, which looks like a slow moving car, which might just be getting out of the way. Warrior Huntsman is just on a 105.7. So yeah, around about 6 tenths. Silent Ninja does a 106.5, and Levin has just done a 105.3 on mediums. As Osbalso has just started his lap. Is anyone on a time lap that's not invalidated? The answer to that is Sniper is Ace, who is just on a 104.5 on mediums. That is a solid lap on medium tyres, I will give him that. And that's one way of getting out of the way of a faster car. As we have Jay doing a 136.7 on his lap, so I'd assume he was the cause of the yellow flag at sector 2. Because the only way I can imagine being 30 plus seconds off of the pace is if he's had a spin somewhere and then had to wait for cars to move out of the way so he can get back onto track. As we just take a quick jump through the field, see who's on a lap. Is this an outlap? Or, yep, it's an outlap. So, Call Me Out Kid is on an outlap, Scotty's on an outlap. Gainful Odds is on an outlap. As Jay just starts another flying lap and does a 1 minute 10. He will want to come back into the pits and choose another set of tyres before the end of the session and bang another lap out. Otherwise, he will, if he gets through to Q3, will be starting on worn mediums, which is not ideal. The race strategy around here, it does say that you can do the one stop from mediums to softs and pitting around about lap 24 to 25 on the mediums to change onto the softs. It's a task and a half to do that, especially if the weather is changing. Why has Jay just come to a complete stop? It's a weird place to let someone pass. He could have just gone straight on at turn 1 and just let them take the corner like they normally would. But as we can see, Jay has put 3 laps on his set of mediums and pretty much everyone else has put 1 or 2 laps on them to ensure that they're safe. Obviously the fastest runners at the moment are on soft tyres. That yellow flag is seem to have a lot of Ozbolso fans today. There's quite a few comments supporting him, as we currently have Call Me Our Kid stopped on track. I'm not entirely sure what he's doing there. Oh, just letting people go. Could have picked just to move off of the line and continue moving. But as long as he's not impeding anyone's lap, that's perfectly fine. It happens. And yet just dives into the pits. He will want to just retire. Scotty's also coming into the pits by the looks of it. Almost missed the pit lane. A sniper's race in the pits. So is Jay. And it looks like Rich is actually on a flying lap. Yes, he is. So he's had a moment somewhere. As Sexprey still sat in the pit lane. He's not moving. And Paranoid, P10, what's wrong? P10 will still see you through to Q3. Obviously it's going to get a little bit quicker in the next couple of minutes. I can't explain what's wrong with P10 or Ozbolso being in P11. That might be because he's on slightly warm mediums and was on low fuel, so he was having to kind of lift and coast through certain corners. But he will probably put on a set of soft tyres in a minute and come out in 2 minutes, just over, and do a lap on a set of softs in order to get himself through. Shade Babs is actually now out on track coming through the end of sector 2 and is almost a second in the green. has a purple sector too. That's a very strong middle sector from him then. Let's see how he gets on. He's currently in P12, so he could be knocking a few people out of qualifying at the moment. There we go, almost a second quicker, and puts himself into P6. It's nice to see the guys interacting with each other in the comment section of the YouTube. So if anyone else is watching this along, get involved, have a discussion with them, and just keep the comments going. And please remember to like and subscribe to all the videos that are on the channel, as it does help with the evolution of the league. Yeah, as Osboso is coming back out of the pits, and he has a fresh set of softs fitted to the car. So we'll come back to him in just over a minute once he's hit his flying lap. Oh! Shade, that is not how you enter the pit lane. I am surprised that did not give you any damage. That was brave on the entry to the pit lane. P3 on mediums so far, Sniper. That is a good effort. Looks like you could be the only one inside the top 10 that is not entirely safe just yet. But I'd say you're relatively safe at this very moment in time. As Warrior Huntsman is up on his previous best. Whereas Osboso coming through sector 1. So we'll ride on board with Warrior Huntsman, then we'll jump on board with Osboso. As Warrior Huntsman crosses the line. Warrior Huntsman is on a 105.7 and already found almost a second on his previous best. So this will put him in the 1 minute 4s if he can continue this pace. So he should be looking at about 1 minute 4.5. 1 minute 4.2, which puts him immediately into P1. Whereas Osboso is finding around about half a second so far. 1.5 seconds, which puts him into P4 and a 1 minute 4.5. So Sniper currently a man that's on the mediums, sat in P5, but only has completed one flying lap on them. Shade has done 3 laps on his mediums, but sits in P9, so there will be a slight tyre disadvantage there. That is a slow moving, I think it's an alpha, based on the telemetry. I'm not entirely sure. No, it's just a slow moving hound. As that is one of the racing points coming out of the pits. I believe that will be Levin. It is. Guys, come in the YouTube section. Can we not abuse the drivers, please? Thank you. It's just, he might have just overcooked his pit lane entry. I've been there and done that myself. As Sexbreeze just pulled off to the side on what is the apex of a corner, depending on what line you take. Yeah, Osbozo is currently in the lead of the championship, so he is currently the man to beat. But don't sleep on Warrior Huntsman. He has lost a little bit of his pace through moving from the controller to the wheel, but I doubt that he will be in Tier 3 for very much longer, as once he is used to it, we'll probably move back up to Tier 2. As Levin is on a lap trying to sneak himself into Q3. King of the Hills is out at the moment, I believe. Yeah, he's on his flying lap. So Levin, Shade Mabs, and King of the Hills are the only men that can knock Rich, Jay, and Silent Ninja out. So let's see how they all get on. That is a little bit odd. I think that will be up to me to send. I suppose I'm sorry, mate, but you are the man to beat at the moment. I will be back in a moment. I've just got to send Warrior Huntsman another invite to the session, as he's just disconnected, but I will do it at the end of qualifying too. Shade Babs does improve and puts himself into P7, which does knock Silent Ninja and Jay out of qualifying. Rich is also out, so everybody that I did say could improve has improved the qualifying times. So give me a second and I will send Warrior Huntsman another invite back to the session. Let's see how many invalidations we had this lap, or this qualifying session, shall we? So, speeding, yeah. Invalidated, invalidated, invalidated. Warning for speeding in the pit lane. Invalidate. Hound DNF'd. Oh, terminal damage. He crashed out. Paranoid invalidated, and Jay invalidated. I'm just inviting Warrior Huntsman back, so bear with me. Sorry about that, guys. I was just sending Warrior Huntsman another invite back. The stream should be up and running again, as it is. As Scotty is the first man out on track, followed by Shade Mabs. So full qualifying set for these guys seems to be going relatively smoothly. As everyone's just on an outlap for now, so let's see who will get in, take pole position as the rest of the field is being formed. Yep, that will be Scotty, that is the first man out on track. See what everybody's got fitted, and we'll enable telemetry so we can see who is doing what. as Shade has done a 104.5, Scotty with also 104.5. So both setting decent banker laps for Q1. As the next man out on track was that Warrior Huntsman, just leaving this session again. Levine has just done a 104.2. Sniper's Ace doing a 104.3. So times are getting a little bit quicker. Is Huntsman still in the session? Yes, he is. Oh, that's a messy exit from Levine. Just caught a snap of oversteer on the exit there. King of the Hills is on an outlap. Call Me Our Kid, who's had a decent showing in qualifying so far. Can he take pole position on his CDR debut? As he has a purple middle sector, but that just might be the game informing him that he's got it when it tells everybody they've got a purple middle sector. Tidy line through the final corner, didn't take too much curb. 103.9, Jesus. That's going to take some beating from the rest of the field, as he's just put himself almost 3 attempts quicker than the nearest competitor, as Gainful Odds is on his way over to complete his first lap. And ups against it as he's had a moment somewhere. Osboso is the next man coming through. And Osboso puts himself into P6 with a 104.7. The Sniper has just gone and beaten that time by Call Me Our Kid with a 103.859. Okay, let's see. King of the Hills just coming through sector 2 as we speak. Well, coming to the end of sector 1. Let's see how he's going to get on through sector 2. Decent sector 2 there, and the quick blast up to 10 and 11, with the racing point of Livin getting completely out of his way, which is nice to see. DRS activated, and he puts himself into P6. With Sexpree moving slowly on an outlap. Warrior Huntsman is on his outlap and is actually starting to catch Sexpree. Oh, no, he's already passed him, sorry. See what Warrior Huntsman's got in the bag. We'll ride on board with him for his entire lap. As 106.4 was I think it was one of the first times set in this round of qualifying. So with track evolution, he should go a little bit quicker, as he's already almost 4 times up in sector 1. So see what he's got in the bag. As he wouldn't have been happy with a 106.4 in his first run. I'm expecting him to get into at least a 1 minute 4s. And he's almost a second up already. As long as he has no issues in the final sector, he should be okay. One minute 5.1, which he gains 1.5 seconds and doesn't improve in track position. Silent Ninja, there is no such thing about as unlocking Q2. You either nail a lap and get through, or you just can't hook it up. There's no luck about it. That's a big lock up by Gameful Odds going into the pit lane. Call me our kid, and I'm not sure who the car ahead of him was. It was one of the Williams. I think it was Warrior Huntsman. No, it wasn't. But Huntsman is down on his time. Diving into the pits. Call me Arcade. How did his sector 2 go? Scotty making a marginal difference in his sector 1 time, being 0.01 up on his time through sector 1. So as long as he can keep it neat and tidy through the rest of the sector, or the rest of the lap, he should be able to improve in not only track position, but, well, not only time, but in track position too. As the nearest car from him is in literally a couple milliseconds ahead of him. So he could improve his track position to P5 if he can keep it steady through the final corner. And he invalidated. But also that's going to be gutting for him. He tried to take a little bit more curb on the exit and ended up invalidating his lap, as Sniper, his ace, is actually on the verge of improving his time already. So this could be a 1 minute 3.7, and he invalidated his lap. As Gainful Odds is the only man left to set a lap time in Q3, he's just going to start in P10. Osbalso now coming and looking like he's meaning business. Kept it away from an invalidation and has just put himself into P2 on a 103.9, and I think he just snuck through with enough time to do another lap. So there is a chance. Oh, Osbalso is just, yeah, he's managed to sneak through with just enough time to do another quali lap. So let's see how he gets on, as the midfield are pretty much confirmed, unless King of the Hills can pull something out of the bag in a moment. Gainful Odds is on an invalidated lap, so there's only 2 men on track that can actually determine the starting position of the rest now. And it looks like this lap time is not going to be the lap time he's looking for. It looks like he's chasing his delta. unless he can absolutely nail the final couple of corners. And he invalidates it, yep. And King of the Hills, yep, sat in the pits. So so with qualifying complete, it's Sniper is Ace, Osboso, Call Me Our Kid. I will be back in a second. I'm just going to grab some pictures of the quality results, so then we can actually remember who was inside the top 10. Okay guys, I will be back in a second. We'll be back for the start of the race, and hopefully nobody will ready up early. Okay, so I have just got back to find that Shade Mabs has readied up before the host. Which, if he'd actually checked his Discord over the last couple of days, he would know that's not allowed. As the formation map gets going, as I said, the one stop mediums to soft, a little bit earlier pit stops today, lap 21 to 22 if you're doing the one stop medium to soft. Paranoid has been disqualified from the session, presumably from hitting Claymore, because the car that gets disqualified first is normally the offender. That's not just me saying that, that is just Codemasters and how they work. Sniper getting onto the grass while trying to warm his tyres. I would not recommend that, because that could be dangerous. Okay guys, so to who's watching, what driver are you supporting today? Let's see who we've got friends and family of watching. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that just everybody watching the stream now is just an Osboso fan. Are we actually pronouncing that correctly? Because that's how we've been pronouncing it, and I'm not sure if it's right. Or is it Osboso? as we have 1, 2, 3, well, 5 lights, and they're out. Can they get a decent start? Everybody get around turn 1 cleanly. There's a little bit of mayhem going on in the background. That is King of the Hills and someone else coming together. That is just waiting on the timing screen to sort itself out. King of the Hills come together with somebody and he's ended up massively off the pace. So once the timing is, oh, that's one of the Ferraris and the Hound coming together. He's lost part of his front wing. He's lost his end plate and barge boards. Jay didn't get a particularly great... Oh no, Jay's just chilling in the midfield. So I believe everybody's now back in position on the timing screens. Yeah, it does seem like everybody is there. So King of the Hills had a coming together with somebody. We'll do the interval and position change so we can see who's had an eventful so eventful first lap, to say the least. The timing screens still aren't correct because there is no way that Clay and Dan are leading the race, and there is no way Hound is leading the race. So it's also leading from Call Me Arcade, from Sniper to Levin. So after the first couple of laps, everything seems to have settled down. Obviously turn 1 and 2 in Austria, very tight hairpins, and the fastest lap just being exchanged multiple times there. Scotty's making a move on Warrior Huntsman. Nice clean move going into turn 2. Had it done before the braking zone. He's on the faster tyre to start the race. I know they're both on soft tyres, aren't they? Yes, they are. That's my oversight. Silent Ninja has made a decent start as he's coming up behind Warrior Huntsman now, trying it round the outside. No Albon and Hamilton situations, please, guys. Keep it respectful. Mikey's up into P12 from starting towards the back. Clay and Dan are just off the pace. They've both gained a position. Call Me Our Kid is just at the fastest lap of the race, so he's trying to make moves. He's within DRS range of the car ahead. So this will be an interesting run into turn 2. Is he close enough to make the move on the brakes? Keep it sensible, guys. Keep it sensible. I feel like with the acquisition of Call Me Arcade, also Boso will be facing some more competition, as he's had it relatively his own way, as Dan has just set the fastest lap of 1:06.7 already in the race. So he's just decided he wants to turn up all of a sudden, and he's just reeling in the car ahead. Just want to see the two Ferrari boys get involved in the fight, as it is a single Constructors Championship here. For Tier 3, they don't run in the combined Constructors of Tier 1 and 2, but as I am in the Ferrari team this season, it's always nice to see them doing well. As side by side coming out the final corner between Warrior Huntsman and Silent Ninja. Keep it respectful into turn 1. This is a great battle by these two. There is literally no room given by either driver as Gainful Odds is making a move on the back of Huntsman. Late on the brakes. There we go. Jay Sean joined and didn't pick a car, as that is Shade Mabs going really wide and losing a couple positions there. Mikey is up into P10 already. I think also is defending for his life at the moment. As that gap between Dan and Sexbury is dropped from 2 seconds at the beginning of the lap to within DRS range. Jay, that's a big lock up into that turn. That's going to leave a nice flat spot. The Hound is just falling off of the pace. How's his ERS going? Is he just draining it to try and get back onto the pace? This battle between the leaders is remaining respectful for now, but there might come a point within the next few laps where a frustrated move might be made, and if that is the case, it will, hopefully it doesn't lead to fireworks for the rest of the race. Scotty is just all over the back of Sniper's Ace now, picking up a time penalty in his pursuit too. Hound, you have a fan too, and also you've just been told that if you don't pick up the pace, you will be staying in the Alpha Tauri and not moving to a Red Bull. Oh no, sorry, that was the Hound that has been told that he will stay in the Alpha Tauri and not be given a Red Bull seat. Guys, we're not Christian Horner. As this midfield battle now is picking up, as Warrior Huntsman is the man at the front of this train, and he's just got Gainful Odds, Paranoid, Mikey, Rich, Shade Mabs, King of the Hills all behind him. And then it drops off, and there is a 19-second gap to Dan in the background. And let's see who's made a pit stop so far, shall we? Paranoid has left the session, so I'll be back and just invite him. A disconnection in the middle of the session when you're in the heat of a battle is the last thing that you want, and this is why it's helpful to have a co-commentator, so then one can focus on this while the other one is inviting people back that are disconnecting and things like that. Let's take a quick look. Osbozo is now just being absolutely rinsed in the comments by his friends. Call Me Our Kid has actually just absolutely gapped Osbozo out in front within a lap. Any Haas fans around, you might want to actually take a picture of this, because this is the only time you'll see a Haas lead in a race. As Osbozo is now actually having to battle with Levin. He's dropped off the pace massively. His tyres must be gone or on the way out in order for him to have dropped that far off. or he's had a moment somewhere. Shade Mab's picking up a time penalty. Clay and Dan are in this today to help fill out the grid because there's a few that didn't turn up and no reserves checked in. So Clay is on his wheel for the first time, qualifying and racing properly, and Dan is just out to help fill the grid. So, and Mikey is a genuine reserve, and he's just come into the pits. So he's had a moment somewhere. I think for that you might want to jump into his actual like PSN party or something and let him know that he needs to box. And as he's in a Red Bull, I'm pretty sure the phrase is also, this is Christian, box, box. No, this is Toto. But thank you to all the guys who are actually engaging in the chat because it's given me something to talk about while I don't have a co-commentator. So it is appreciated. Thank you so much. And let's see if there's any battles going on around. Sniper is Ace. Is actually right on the back. Is he going to make a move going up into turn 2? He's not quite close enough and has had to take the outside line, looking for the switchback, but the door was covered. Yeah, he's losing some serious time now to the medium runners. So the mediums will go until lap 20 to 22. Sexbury, 5-second penalty for speeding the pit lane. That is not what he needed. Yeah, the soft tyres are gone. As he actually takes an adventurous line into the pits, but it is appreciated that he has taken that line in. So then it was committed to the pit lane entrance. He was within the white lines on entrance. As Scotty is looking at making a move into turn 1, it's not really an overtaking opportunity, but if you're close enough, you may as well take the chance. Is he close enough for turn 2 though? Dan picking up a time penalty again. Warrior Huntsman has got one. Scotty has got one. Shade Babs and Sexbury have all got time penalties. Everyone else has seemed to be getting on relatively okay. Call Me Our Kid out in front on the soft tyres is making them work for him. If he pits now, he'll come out around about just ahead of Osbozo. So if he decides to take his stop now, the overcut will work. So to do an extra lap, absolutely ruin the set of softs that he had. Couple of lockups. Clay has just retired from the session, which was the Ferrari you could see ahead, and you'll see Call Me Our Kid drop all the way down to about 9th position. So he actually comes out in 7th position. Actually 8th position. So yeah, he's made the overcut work. He's managed to stay out an extra lap and still gain an advantage. Who's that McLaren that is in ghost mode? Who is in the other McLaren? That is Jay that's in ghost mode for some reason. It hasn't come up that he's left the session. So a couple guys are already a lap down. Let's see what the fastest lap is so far. Fastest lap of the race is Mikey with a 106.6 so far. Dan has done a 106.7. Everybody else is cruising around the 107s to 108s. So we'll pop it back on the gap between the leader. Who's the biggest winner so far after the pit stops? So everybody from Call Me Arcade up has not stopped. Pain, Paranoid and Gameful Odds have not stopped either. So Call Me Arcade is still net P1, and Osboso is actually still stuck behind two people that are yet to stop. So he'll be taking life out of his tyres, trying to catch them and move forward. And let's see that it looks like Jay has actually fully disconnected from the session as he's not using his overtake. So give me a sec and I'm going to just send him an invite back. Hopefully that should let him rejoin the session as he has now got a couple more invites. And Austria is very, very, very rough on tyre wear. So the soft tyres, they say they can last about 14 laps, but after about 8 or 9 at race pace, you'll start to feel them go off. As Rich is just coming to the pits, is that for a set of mediums or is he going hards? Looks like he's gone for a set of hard. No, he's gone for a set of mediums. Yeah, guys, feel free to bicker amongst yourselves about who's going to be his race engineer. Silent Ninja picking up a time penalty. Good effort to come for him so far. He's up 5 positions. Dan is up 12, including a pit stop. Osboso is down 2. Paranoid is up 12, but hasn't pitted yet. And the Sniper has also not pitted yet, and is back where he started. It looks like Osboso opted for the hard tyres for some reason. Paranoid is on the mediums. Call Me Arcade is on the mediums. Sniper is just cruising at the moment on his mediums. He's looking at doing the one stop, the soft, medium to soft, by the looks of it, as he will be coming in within the next 7 to 10, well, next 5 to 7 laps, I'd presume. 8 at a push. Silent Ninja is also on the hard, so he's opted to pit early. Well, no, he could have done the mediums from where he was. Levin also on mediums, Scotty mediums, Rich out on his mediums, Warrior Huntsman on mediums, King of the Hills. Mikey's still on soft, so he's 2-stopping this race. If he's doing soft, soft, or medium, soft, medium. Gameful Odds also on medium, Shade Mabs on softs, the Hound on 14 lap old hards. So he pitted relatively early and tried to go to the end on hard tyres, which it's going to be a big ask to do that. Sexbury is on mediums, and so is Jay, who is a lap down on hard tyres. But it does look like he's managed to rejoin us. He's now engaging DRS. No, he's not rejoined us. He just tried to go through a car. With so many gaps. Oh, there we go. Silent Ninja and Levin and Scotty are now all pretty close to each other. Scotty's gonna just... Oh, Shade Mab's popping up with a 106.1 as fastest lap of the race. Hards were the most calculated option, were they? Let's see how that works out for him come the end of the race. As Sniper's Ace is still managing to maintain this gap. He's actually pulling out a little bit of a gap. That is a ghosted Alpha Tauri. That is a lapped Alpha Tauri. That will be the Hound getting lapped, I believe. And Sexbury's just spun out on the exit of turn 2. So let's see what he's going to do. I think he's he's already a lap down. So is the Hound. The Hound is the last man remaining to score a point though, so as long as he can stay where he is, he's at least grabbing a point. But he's... Oh, no, Hound. That is not what you wanted. Where is the Hound? There we go. He's back. That was a big moment coming out the final corner. As King of the Hills is now P10. So there are a few decent laps coming in now. A 106.1, 106.7, 106.6. Should be looking at around about a 107 like flat, as that was a car getting lapped. I'm not sure who that was. I think that won't be Dan getting lapped. It's a great camera shot, only if there's someone behind him. As Rich and Levin are still getting closer and closer to each other. Plan C, watch that coming and put on a set of mediums and go to the end. As King of the Hills has just picked up a time penalty. And Osbozo also has a time penalty. 3 seconds. So 3 seconds. Oh, that's the McLaren of Jay, I believe, unlapping itself from one of the lapping cars. That might be why he looks ghosted, because he's just been lapped. Sexbreed the same, Hound the same. Shade Mabs is the next one on the list to get lapped, followed by Gainful Odds. Make a gap, go for the softs, try and grab fastest lap while he's at it. It's not the worst idea, because that extra point will help. Especially as his championship rivals aren't having the best of races today. So Cool Me All Kid is now elevating himself back into P1. Osbozo back into P2. Sniper's Race back into P3. Scott into P4. Rich in P5. Levin P6. Silent Ninja 7th. Huntsman 8th. He'll be happy with how his race is going for the time being. Managed to get through to Q3. And he's still within the hunt for decent points. So, but he also does have King of the Hills all over the back of him and in DRS range. So, No Fan has got Paranoid and Gameful Odds for company. And I'd assume Mikey won't be too far. Mikey's 14.5 seconds off that little trio. Mikey has a very lonely race. The nearest car he's got to him is Shade Mabs, who's 1.4 seconds behind. So with 13 laps to go, everything seems to have settled down a little bit. Gaps are starting to form. Call Me Our Kid basically has a 12-second advantage at the moment. So all he's got to do is just run his own race, maintain his tyres, and just keep it on within track limits. Scotty, still in this little tussle, is Rich and Levin. I think these guys have been battling for the last couple of laps, and while they've been doing so, they've let the cars ahead gap them and the cars behind close up. That's a big lock up from Rich. I do give him some praise for using no ABS. It is something that is very difficult to get used to not having on. As soon as you touch the brakes, if you brake slightly wrong, you are just locking up and you have absolutely no steering input. So let's see if he can make, if Levin can actually get past him into P5, sorry. No, he seems to have lost a little bit of time out of the final corner. Still does have DRS though. Yeah, he's lost a little bit of time. I think he's just trying to stay within DRS and just cool the engine down a little bit or save fuel. Something along those lines. There'll be something that's going on as to why he's let the gap etch out a little bit. As Osboso is now actually catching Sniper's Ace. Game Ford's picking up a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. And that appears to be a slow-moving Ferrari. Mercedes, not Ferrari, sorry. Yellow flag, who was safety car, who was crashed. So this will be the time where everybody dives into the pits and puts on a set of soft tyres. Final 10 laps of the race. Got nothing to lose. You won't lose track position. As everybody will have the same thing in their mind. Just dive into the pits. Fresh set of softs. As we can see, a lot of them have done. So Call Me Our Kid has pitted and put on a fresh set of softs and has has a 3-lap advantage on those softs compared to Sniper's Ace. So, safety car, I'd assume it's just because of some wing damage or something. There's nobody else who's DNF'd. I did miss it, so I'm not entirely sure. So, I do apologise about that. Guys, give each other enough room under the safety car. There's no need to be right on the gearbox of the car ahead, as you can't overtake until the line anyway, once the safety car goes in. So, I'll be back in a second. I'm just going to invite people back into the session. Again, sorry about that, guys. It happens that people will disconnect at random times, and it does interrupt the stream. Oh, Dan getting very close to the back of us bozo in the braking zone. That 5 seconds would not have been removed, Daniel. Bearing in mind the medium runners actually had the advantage because the mediums will still have tyre wear and life to give at this point in the race, especially if they're only like 5-6 laps old. So they would have been perfect for this opportunity. They would have been scrubbed in, but being sat underneath the safety car for 3 laps would have extended their life. So Levin has just picked up a 5-second penalty for crashing into the back of someone. Hopefully the safety car should be in at the end of this lap. So I will ride on board with the leader to see how they get the safety car restart done. And safety car has gone in. Sniper's Ace has actually managed to keep his lead, but he's now on used softs compared to the chasing pack. Bearing in mind they've got to get to lap 31 I think it is before they can actually have DRS re-enabled. So 3 laps after the safety car has gone in. So as long as he can keep himself outside of that 1 second window, which looks like it's going to be a tough ask, as there's a few battles going on now. Late safety cars always add excitement to a race, and those with high penalties will just tumble down the order at the end of the race because the field doesn't have enough room to stretch out again. Mikey doing a 105.9 from the safety car restart. That's the benefits of fresh softs and low fuel mode and low fuel in the car. Quite impressive that he's managed to do it while surrounded by traffic though. Paranoid getting a 5-second penalty for cutting a corner and gaining a place in the process. So it's like he's gone round the outside of turn 2 and gone off track, but kept his foot in and just kept the position instead of handing it back. Sexpree picking up another 3-second time penalty. And DRS has been enabled on lap 31. So this will be where Kumiar Kid gets himself within range now and then just puts his foot down. Surprisingly not opening it, like not using his overtake button. Just trying to catch up to the back of him and get the DRS for the next run down. Is he going to use overtake? It's quite a defensive line taken by Sniper's Ace there. Very defensive line, and then moves back across to the racing lane. Well defended by him. King of the Hills is making his mediums work for him. I know he's got a couple of penalties, but he's currently up into P4. Just going to add, I am a big fan of this helicopter camera. It isn't an option to use permanently, but it does give some great shots just like that where you can see the full line. That was Dan running massively wide at the penultimate corner as Richie's just picked up a time penalty, and just Dan has just backed off there and just let cars go. As Mikey's now inside the top 10. Hound picking up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And he's just retired from the race even though he was in the point. Oh no, he was just outside of the points. Oh, it's a big lock-up from Kumiar Kid. But he's managed to get it, managed to get the right line. He's on the outside, and what a move that was. Clean and respectful from both drivers. That is exactly what Tier 3 needs to be all about. Afford respect to the person you're overtaking, and they will do the exact same to you. As Osboso has now dropped off of that pack of the lead duo and has managed to gap Scotty. And Dan is in the pits. Has he got an issue, and is he just going to retire? Sexpree picking up another time penalty. How many penalties is he on? Because I think Sexpree is on 15 seconds. And I think the limit is 27. Warrior Huntsman has just retired from the session. And that is Rich losing it himself. So that might be... No, that's just a yellow flag. There's no safety car. Fortunately, nobody's picked up a drive-through from speeding underneath the safety car. That is no fan coming out of the pits. He's putting a set of mediums, which I suppose has just picked up another time penalty. So Call Me Arcade actually needs to gap Sniper's Ace by 5 seconds by the end of the race in order to keep his race win. Late safety car has helped him massively. As this little Quattro, I believe it is, from Scotty back to Mikey, are all within touching distance of each other. So let's see how they all get on. Sniper is, Call Me Arcade has just pulled out 1.5 seconds, well 1.6. So he's got 2 laps to find another 3.5 seconds. Yes, I can. I will put it on interval so you can see the gap between each driver. I'll also put it on position change for now. There we go. So Osboso is 1.8 seconds to the car ahead. And it's dropping. So Sniper's Ace's soft tyres are starting to go off. So that gap could actually increase to Sniper's Ace. I doubt it's going to become 5 seconds within the next few laps, well, next lap and a half. As King of the Hills gets very close to the back of Scotty at the apex of turn 2. As he's got Levin for company going into turn 5, well, turn 4, sorry. That's a very nice move. A very nice move there, up the inside. King of the Hills losing out now. Mikey running wide and kicking up a little bit of gravel dust on his way through. And Shade Babs take like corner cutting there again. Sexprey picking up another time penalty, so that's 18 seconds. That is a yellow flag in the final sector. And who was that going round the wrong way? That is Sexprey. So, and he's lost part of his front wing. So he's had a little bit of contact with the wall and just lost it. So final lap, he will be moving slow. I think he's a lap down anyway, so as his race should be over. As Osboso is actually getting within DRS range now. He's going to be, I'm just going to put it on penalties so we can see. Yeah, Osboso will take P2 on penalties. No, he won't. He'll take P3. Decent effort. Gainful odds is the next man around. Everybody else will just stay in position now. Mikey running slowly. Dan also the same. Rich is out of it. Jay is finished. So Dan and Mikey will finish 11th and 12th respectively, as they're the only people that aren't lapped on track. So I'm just going to grab a picture of the race results. And also pop it onto fastest lap so then we can see who grabbed that. Okay guys. Okay guys, thank you for tuning in. I'm just about to end the broadcast. So have a nice evening and thank you.